Hello. Good afternoon. And happy to see you early after a very good lunch. And I don't know why, but I'm always getting sessions after lunch. So maybe the organizers have more confidence, or I don't know, they want to test me whatsoever. But this is a post-lunch session, and I welcome you all. Let me introduce the experts who will be discussing on various issues. So let me first introduce Dr. Thakur Gurjit Singh sir. He is a Dean and Director at Chitkara College of Pharmacy, Chitkara University, Punjab. He carries a vast experience of 16 years in academics, administration and research industry. He is engaged with projects on interpretation of nicotinic, morphine, alcohol dependence, ischemia, diabetic neuropathy and neuropathy toxicology and epilepsy, Alzheimer's disease, stem cell research studies, and he has handled affiliation formalities with the Director's Office. He is among 2% scientists of the world as per the list published by Stanford University. So it's a great privilege. I think we should give the big round of applause that the scientist which has been reckoned in world's 2% scientist is with us, and we can expect a lot from him. We can ask various questions on various issues. He has also attended UGC networking course and various preclinical and clinical research training programs. He has more than 245 research publications on international and national level, 20 books chapter, 8 books, 108 patents filed under his name. So really a very wonderful academician we are having. He is a chairperson of CPCAC. And he is in charge of Animal House facility at Chitkara College of Pharmacy. He is also member secretary for Institutional Human Ethics Committee at same university. Next to him is Mrs. Dhanasri Patil. She is a director at BioClean Art Private Limited, Sangli. So again, those who want to be entrepreneur, you can see a very young entrepreneur is sitting in front of you. So a very young entrepreneur. She is a profound background of biotechnology and postgraduate degree in clinical research. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. Her journey is marked by a continuous pursuit of excellence, evidence in her MBA program from University of Glamorgan in the UK. She is a passionate director of BioClean Art, a company founded in 2015. She has demonstrated exceptional adaptability, steering the company's operation in response to dynamic needs of the market. She has got several years of extensive experience in clinical data and clinical research. Her expertise spans projects and process management, clinical trials, data protocol, good clinical practices, and adept management of global regulatory affairs. So prior to her work at BioClean Art, she held a pivotal position at Vishwa Solutions, a leading management consulting company, which come up with the solutions that are apt and appropriate. So thus enabling them to achieve their goals and sustainable growth. So welcome Dr. Dhanasri, Ms. Dhanasri. We have Dr. Santosh Saket with us. He is a Director of Quality Assurance and Innovation at Expecto. Dr. Santosh Saket is a distinguished professional. He holds a PhD in pharmacology and boasts 22 years of expertise in quality management across pharmaceutical, CRO, laboratory industries. With a proven track record, he excels in developing, implementing and managing good clinical practices, good veterinary practices, good laboratory quality systems. He is adept in hosting, conducting and managing international regulatory inspections like USFDA, EMA, TGA, MFDS, etc. audits, and implementing quality management system for clinical trials and pharmaceutical vigilance projects. Throughout his career, Dr. Saket has played a significant roles at Accenture Solutions Private Limited, GDFI, Brenzel Laboratory, Metropolis, DBRC, Sandoz and others. His excellence spans clinical research, quality assurance, governance, strategic planning, his expertise in clinical and preclinical areas, coupled with health leadership in quality management, positions him as a key asset in fulfilling Expecto's mission of delivering excellence in clinical research. One more guest is there. Once he arrives, I will introduce him. He is on the way. In the meanwhile, we shall be starting our sessions. And I think one academician, one senior academician is there. Before that, let me ask audience, how many of you know about clinical research? Students, what it is? So until and unless you understand about clinical research, you will not take interest in this, I suppose. Please, someone please give them mic. Just a minute. What happened is in the morning I saw that they lost interest because it was very high.
I think so. It's better we should discuss with all of them.
Yes. In the meanwhile, you please keep your questions ready related to clinical research. We'll start with the session first. So let me start with the academician of repute, Dr. Thakur Gurjit Singh sir. Can you please give some ideas how this next-gen therapy and clinical research facilities, how academics and industry can go together, what thing we need to put into it. Welcome, sir.
First of all, thank you. I think so. The topic is very advanced. With respect to, as in the morning, Mr. Montumar Patel shared with you, we are changing the content and syllabus in this year. Like the next generation therapeutics, I think so. You people are quite familiar with the chemotherapeutic agents. Sorry. Chemotherapeutic agents. But you know the side effects about the chemotherapeutic agents. Like they, along with killing the cancerous cells, they also kill the non-cancerous cells. That is the reason behind it. Our immune system gets compromised, and these days the maximum death rates is due to chemotherapy. Me to say, we need some advancement, and the most problem, what so the advancement is there. These are the antibiotic conjugates that are not part of your syllabus. But in new syllabus, you will get these antibiotic conjugates, radio conjugates are there, and T-cell immunotherapy is there. Like in T-cell immunotherapy, I think so. You have listened about T-cell immunotherapies. Yeah. What happened in T-cell immunotherapy? You have listened about CAT, chimero antigen receptors T cells. Where the whatsoever the person is suffering from cancer, we are just extracting the T cells. We are re-editing some genes in the T cells. Then the T cell have capacity to kill the cancer cells. So, with respect to what sort of conventional chemotherapy agents are there, or some conventional therapies are there, this next generation therapeutics provides ample opportunities to cure the rare diseases, chronic diseases. They are more bioavailable, but the most they are more target oriented as compared to the conventional therapies are there. But the basic problem is with respect to costing. Costing is one of the major factors when we are working on this next generation therapeutics. And with this, the only costing is the one point, and second one is the when we are doing some gene editing. Like have you listened about the baby designers? In these days, China is working on baby designers. Like gene editing is one of the topic where they are working on cancer, and there are some rare diseases are there. Parkinson is there, myelolateral sclerosis is there, ALS is there. And in the, what happens? They are just editing the genes. They just knock out the gene from the person, and then there is curative chances are more. But what happens when there is unedited site is there? Then this is the major problem with next generation therapeutics. Because if some unedited gene is there, that will give the result that we are not we are not prepared for that. These are some, you can say, the side effects or negative point of next generation therapeutics. Costing and ethical issues when we are doing this gene editing and when we are using this chimero antigen receptor T cells for leukemia, anti-cancer.
So thank you very much, sir. In the meanwhile, I welcome our panelist, Dr. Sable sir, Dr. Dhananjay Sable. Let me introduce him first and then I'll go for question to him on the basis of the information, the knowledge Dr. Thakur Gurjit Singh sir has shared. So Dr. Dhananjay Sable sir, he is a Deputy Drugs Controller of India, CDSCO headquarters, New Delhi. He is presently working as a Deputy Drug Controller of India at the Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, to what we call as a CDSCO. That is part of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. He has obtained a M.Pharm degree from Mumbai University, so he is your alumnus actually. Welcome him in that sense also. He was awarded the Best Presentation Award and got PhD from Gujarat University. He has received the Best Alumni Award also from the universities. Dr. Sable worked in various private industries and also worked in the capacity of Principal of Pharmacy College. Again, fortunately, in your neighborhood at Nagotne only. I asked him in the morning. And he has joined CDSCO as a drug inspector. He was selected for the post of drug inspector and for the post of assistant commissioner FDA. He later qualified twice at UPSC for the post of drugs inspector and assistant drug controller of India. And he was topper of the UPSC selection in 2015. So big round of applause for his. As the inspector, he has audited more than 150 national and multinational pharmaceutical industries, many of the blood banks, ethics committees, CROs, clinical trial sites across the India. In morning he was telling, if you remember, that in US that inspector only inspect polio vaccines and he had to inspect a lot of different varieties. So big round of applause again that the way he is doing. He has been involved in reviewing application which pertains to medical devices, then serious adverse event clinical trials, new drugs, then INDs, GCTs, and assemblies and FDCs for their approval. Dr. Sablis participated in more than 100 meetings of NDSC, SCC, that is New Drug Advisory Committees, and for approval of various clinical trials, new drugs, medical devices, etc. He also attended more than 50 GCP, GLP, GMP workshop, training and seminar. He was appointed as a member of New Drugs and Clinical Trial Rules 2019 Drafting Committee by Government of India. He attended world conferences related to clinical trials at international levels like Geneva, Japan, etc. He has delivered many lectures at various medical colleges and universities like at Mumbai, Delhi, Gujarat, Hyderabad, Orissa, etc. And in national workshop organized by CDSA, his lectures are also available on YouTube. So it's a great honor, great pleasure to have Dr. Sable sir here. And now my question goes to him. Dr. Gurjit Singh just told us that there are many avenues, and in that he mentioned that there may be some gene therapies which can be there. So sir, my question, what stance our regulatory system is having at present, and if it is not, then what you feel that what will be done in future? Just before you came, sir, there was a question to academics person, Dr. Thakur Gurjit Singh sir, that what are the new therapies, new generation therapeutics he is seeing as academician, that what new generation therapies will be coming in future. And in that he mentioned related to TC therapies, he mentioned about the genetic therapies, that is modulation of gene. And that can be one of the very wonderful remedy in future. He is expecting like that. But I suppose even he claimed that if there is some problem in gene, that can result in a very big catastrophe. So that can be a big problem if it is there. And if it is so, then how we need to think about our regulatory aspects for gene therapy. I suppose at present we don't have that setup, regulatory setup for checking the gene therapy treatments.
So, well, actually, I'm from the regulator, and the question they asked is very right, but you should know that the function of the regulatory system is like that. Whatever the molecules and whatever the things you are developing, see, if we see the history, we are going from the GMP, QA/QC to the QAD, and it's like that only. So our job is to, whatever you are developing, that we have to ascertain the safety and quality issues that we have to ensure. And at present, see, this is one of the biggest challenge that whatever that you are doing, so you have to prove it to us, to the regulator, that this is the this and this is the this, like the QBD system. Our QBD system is like, if you are maintaining the PSA, for example, for pH, if you are maintaining, then why it is not pH3, why it is not pH5? It's like that system. So same in case of this gene editing also, if there is something wrong, then you have to prove to us, you have to convince to us, and we are having the expert committee rather than identifying this in a separate laboratory. Because ultimately the responsibility lies with the sponsor who has developed this molecule. It's not, no doubt it will come to the media, it will come to the regulator and it will ask. But the final responsibility is with the sponsor. So at present, we don't have such a facility to see whether that gene editing we have done that is accurate or not. But although, see, we have developed and we have set up a lot of laboratories during the COVID. We have seen we have given this task to identify the RT-PCR kits to the ICMR, which is one of the well-known institutions. And in future also, if such problems are arising, the government will approve some of the laboratories to cross-check this. So this is the future thing, that gene editing and all this. Even if we are not having the BAV study center which is approved by the government and where we can cross-check it. But in future there are lot of proposals, and definitely I think the government will think about that also.
And yes,
Here, Dr. Sabri mentioned, for development of any drug molecule, it's not like that we are doing any gene sequencing and there is a mutation or something like that which is causing some catastrophe. But we already have regulatory guidelines in place, so we have to understand and comply with the regulatory guidelines as well as quality management system. And before going into the market or launching the product in the market, it is necessary to have preclinical studies in animals, which spans from 3 years to almost 8 years. And the long-term stability, toxicity testing will be done. And apart from this, then it will move to the clinical trials where phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4 clinical trials will be conducted. And each and every stage there will be efficacy and safety will be calculated or measured. And depending on that only, once the regulators are they are confident enough that this drug is ready to market, then only they will give the approval for the marketing up to phase 3. And after phase 3 also, once the drug is marketed, they need to conduct some post-marketing surveillance, and wherein pharmacovigilance comes in picture. They collect some adverse events as well as serious adverse events and report it to the regulators on time to time. So we have the regulatory requirements here. Yes.
thank you. The next madam.
The next generation in clinical trials, if I can see the next, specialty examples, we are going with the gene therapies, cell therapies, stem therapies. But see, everything is very time consuming. And once it's developed, so the major effect is on the manufacturing part. It affects the manufacturing and the quality control. And for this, we require a validation process, which is again a lengthy process. So even if we are coming with the all next generation therapy, I think so the regulatory part should work on this also for getting a permission. As soon as the permission for this. And definitely if we are coming with any new thing, we should comply with the regulatory part as whatever the it should be properly balanced, whatever it should be compliant with the regulatory part. So that's the main thing. in the next generation therapy we should always focus on, and making this a manufacturing cost effective to the patient treatment. So indirectly, it may cost to the patient treatment. So the cost and the manufacturing and the validation process is very important in this next generation therapies.
Thank you. One more thing is, in morning we were having the sessions where all the entrepreneurs and experts were sitting. And one point which I noticed during all is, they were always having a discussion on what sense is, there is not a good correlation between the small manufacturers, they are not well aware about regulatory things. And academics people are also not knowing about regulatory things. So now all three are there. We are very fortunate. We should thank organizers to keeping us together. That we have now regulatory agency, we have academician, and we have entrepreneurs. Now let me have this kind of discussion that in that scenario, what each other expect from each other. So I think this will be a question that what academicians think that, because academicians we go for research, we just Gurjit Singh sir told that we'll develop a molecule, maybe T-cell related or maybe genetics related or anything new, suppose biotechnology based, biosimilar, etc., whatsoever it may be. We'll be developing in our laboratory. Okay. You will try to get it tested, but then he will ask the questions pertaining to safety.
And we go for the costing part.
You will go only for costing part, not about the rigorousness, difficulties.
Because I'm doing the business development, but definitely I must work on the costing part.
Great. No. But there are difficulties. What difficulties you foresee in that? But second thing is, basically my question is what here the people they are believing that we should have a sort of symphony, we should have a sort of synchronization, so that what we are making without knowledge of, just like she told about, she will be concerned about costing part. So if we are not aware about costing part as an academician, as a researcher, then you may not accept it. If we are not ready with the regulatory part, he will not accept it. So what we feel is, can we think something, can we suggest something through this August gathering, that what we three together can do, what as an academician, what industry and what regulator should come together. We will start with Dr. Gurjit Singh.
First of all, whatsoever the clinical trials we are doing, we are actually going by a very traditional way. First of all, we revolutionize the clinical trial, like tech-driven planning must be there. Like in US, they are doing clinical trial with AI or whatsoever variable devices we are, like I just want to share. Apple is doing a World Health survey. Whatsoever Apple watches are using, they are taking the real-time data. Now, like I'm sitting in India, I wear this watch. Whatsoever my conditions are there, whether I'm sitting or somewhere and whatever my blood pressure is there, my EC is there, every single point data, real-time data is with Apple. So it's a totally new tech-driven, decentralized trials. Decentralized means to say we use AI tools, we use telemedicines, we use variable. What happened? Variable devices. What happened in India? We are going by the very conventional way of the clinical trial. That is the major hurt or burden on with respect to economics. If we are decentralized the clinical trial, if we are using tech-driven clinical trial like AI-based, and then the most important point, much of us not aware of AI, machine learning, big data. Like in next generation therapeutics, if we India in these days becoming hub of cancer, the cancer patient is, but we are not going for the genomic data of the patients. In US, they have the genomic data of every patient. They just go through the data, they just identify which type of population have genetic mutation. Then they go for the personalized, I think so it's a very common term in these days, personalized medicines. Then they go for the personalized medicines, like this type of mutations are there. This type of setup we don't have in India, where we just go through the genomic sequencing or genomic data of Indian population. Once we get that type of genomic data, that will help to, you can space up the clinical trials and whatsoever the personalized drug or new generation therapeutics are there. So that will be major help and boost. And the second, with respect to academia, like every academic institute have their own burden with respect to, you can say that, resources and financial matters. But there is an alternative. If we can do the high throughput screening, computational chemistry part, if we do like, we know the drug molecule, we know the receptors, we can make a library of 1,000 molecules that are showing the efficacy and potency. And from 1,000 molecules, then we are doing this through procedure molecular dynamics. Like this particular drug molecule is this is the structure, that have affinity, that have energy with respect to that receptor, then we synthesize it. That will actually save our time. And once we come with the idea that this particular molecule has some potential, then we shift to the small scale or large scale industry, that you should prepare this molecule and then the formulation part, then the regulatory part is there. Then this is the way we can fasten up the clinical trial or next generation therapeutics that will help to come into the market early as compared to we should wait for 5 to 10 years.
Thank you, sir. Again, somewhere I want to emphasize my question is different. My question is what? That suppose can regulator tell us that where the things they want that they will be going to observe it in future, so that we can keep attention or we can teach our students in that way that regulators are keeping eye on this. So see that you can comply with it when you are doing it. Or industry is asking, suppose what is happening is our research goes to industry, they do it, and then regulator finds problem into it, isn't it? So can we take some beforehand care that these things will be there, you should do it in this way. As a regulator, may I request Sabri sir to kindly guide, can we have some kind of curriculum in that kind, can the industry come and give some sessions to our students that yes, because these students are coming to you after for service, after their education. So you will guide us that what are the requirement industry has to fulfill to you, so that our students can work with them and they will do it. My question is like that. So can we have this kind of synchronization with regulatory, industry and academia?
Actually, for what the regulators is keeping eye, so I would say regulator is keeping an eye on everything.
Yes.
And nothing should miss from the regulator's eyes. And everything, see, whatever you are doing, if we don't keep eye on whatever you are doing and what is coming to the market, so we have faced the Gambia-like matter. In the 100 of the molecules what we have developed, but some small incidents can bring the shame to the India also. So what we expect from the industry and from the academia, we don't have much concern with the academia, because at the very latter stage when they go through the industry, then they come to us. So we are not directly in touch with the academic peoples, and proactively actually we are doing something which is for the academic or the industry. As we are involved with the monitoring of the safety policy as we say. But what I expect and what I suggest that the academic and the industry, they should first be fully aware with the rules and regulations. What I have seen in last many days, the violations, you must be knowing, it was highlighting news in the newspaper that I have issued around the different doctors and the different multinational companies, maybe many of them are here also. So why these violations are not, because they have purposely, they have not done anything wrong. But there is no adequate awareness and there is no proper and correct interpretation of the rules and regulations. So what I suggest that industry should, industry and the teaching staff also, they should give their student a correct understanding of the rules and regulations.
How much part of that subjects is useful in your pharmacology? Or say for example, you are in pharmacology, and how much the pharmacognosy is related to your pharmacology? Or if you are M.Pharm in the pharmaceutics, you have read all the subjects, then how much pharmaceutics is applicable? Let me tell you my story. I was very weak in pharmaceutical jurisprudence, and now I am a regulator. I never understood this pharmaceutical jurisprudence. So this is, this is the practical situation. So what I think, in my personal opinion, not as a regulator, We should have a curriculum like that. The first year, second year, you should have a glimpse of all the subjects. And from the third year itself, I think you should be given a choice to choose a subject and you should be thorough in that subject. You should decide where you wanted to go. If you would like to go into the regulatory, then the third year should be your full regulatory aspects. Drug and Cosmetic Act, NDCT Act, the Criminal Act, all the acts. And fourth year should be the practical training. What actual violations the regulators they are finding, what the industry they are getting the show cause notices for, why the US FDA what they are giving. I think that should be there. If you are interested in the regulatory part. If you are interested in the production, then similar pattern should be followed. The third year you should be given the pharmaceutics subject and you should be thorough in the pharmaceutics. Your situation should not become like our situation what I have told in the morning. You know, we are jack of all but master of none. So that situation should not be there, and that is why the industry people they are not hiring the pharmacists, because they don't have the total subjects and their expectations are very high. That's why they are hiring the non-technical MSc, BSc people, because after all with the less salary they have to teach them also and you also the same things. Here you are shaking the 50 ml of that flask and there it is a 500 ml flask. So you will be amazed to see that. So the first thing I wanted to advise, the curriculum should be like that so that it would be more effective. The second thing what the Bothra sir has asked, what type of set of questions or I would like to suggest is that, so everybody whosoever is going into the production, pharma or anything, so they need to, they need to know the law of the land and the regulations. Because, if you are doing the violations, then there is no excuse. If you are doing some mistakes, that can be rectified. If you are having some deficiencies, that can be rectified. But once you have done the violation and if it has caused the ramification, then you have to suffer a stringent regulatory actions. Like what I have issued a show cause notices to all the doctors, many of the multinational companies. So there would be no excuse. And if it is a serious violation, like you are producing spurious drug and or like a misbranded drug, there is a quality issue, then you could be behind the bar. So I think not only for this pharma field, but in general you should have the knowledge of the regulatory system. जैसे हम रास्ते पे चल रहे हैं और हमने बताया कि हमें पता है नहीं कि हेलमेट पूछना है, हेलमेट लगाना है हमें पता है नहीं. So this is a simple rule. If you are saying नहीं sir हमने तो पढ़ा ही नहीं कभी, I am not a law student, will they excuse you? They will not excuse you. They will fine you completely. Similarly, in the pharma field also, why you are not thinking that regulation is must? You are thinking that if you are going into the production or into the R&D, or if you are manufacturing something, then you are thinking that it's all the responsibility of the sponsor. So last 2-3 years back, we have made a rule that those who are manufacturing, they are also responsible. If you are getting it manufactured from the third party and you are just writing marketed by, they are also responsible. So this rule has been amended last 2 years back. So it is everybody's responsibility to ensure the safety, quality and efficacy of the product, and for that purpose, I recommend you to read, at least have the basic understanding of the Drug and Cosmetic Act. If you are in clinical trial, then New Drug and Clinical Trial 2019. And if you are in medical device, then Medical Device Rule 2017. This at least you have a basic understanding of this, and my lectures are also available on the YouTube. I request to see that lectures also, because many of the companies and people, they have said, sir, I have been in the interview and whatever they have asked, I captured it from the lecture and I got selected. So I request you to see that lectures also. Thank you.
Sir, You were about to ask.
Yeah. With respect to, I say expertise, like our topic is there, NextGen Therapeutics. Being a pharmacologist, I don't have expertise I don't know much about immunity, I know much about virology, I don't know much about biophysics. The basic lacuna in Indian education system is our education is totally, you can say that, professional driven. It's not a multidisciplinary. Like, in these days, we are talking a lot about artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data. And that are the basic component of computer science and application. They are not part and parcel of pharmacy education. Now, when we are going for all these clinical trials and clinical research, then student does not know anything about all these things. So, we are as sir say, medical devices. For medical devices, you must have competency in biophysics. But none of you, including me also, we don't have expertise in biophysics. If we want to pursue our career in medical devices, along with the regulatory guidelines, we must know the basic mechanism by what way we can design these devices. So I think the first instance, we should change our content, our syllabus like that. Whatsoever the future needs are there, we should have that type of content in our syllabus so that you people are quite familiar with all the things. I think so in next 5 to 6 years, thank God our syllabus is getting changed. In next 5 to 6 years, you people become totally absolute. Okay, you have that conventional knowledge. Nobody's both. I just give an example to you. I think so all of you taken paracetamol. And what's the dose of paracetamol? 500 and 650. From last 17 years, nobody's bothering. Why should we go for the other doses form where we should take less paracetamol? If, like in case of dengue, you people are taking 4 tablets of paracetamol, that is approximately 2 grams. It's right now. And that will cause hepatotoxicity. But why we are not able to work on paracetamol? Why we are not able to formulate other doses form where we can actually decrease the dose and overcome this hepatotoxicity side effect? Mean to say there is lacuna. Somewhere we are not able to think like that. Why? Because the syllabus is totally on a conventional way. It's time to change the content. It's time to upgrade yourself. Like last year, I have given the suggestion to our board of studies. We have introduced 3 certification courses for B.Pharm students. One is data analysis, one is AI, and third is machine learning. These 3 are now mandatory course for B.Pharm students, and along with one of certification course in DRA with GSK. That we have started for B.Pharm students. So I think so it's time, if our regulatory body is not changing, then we should change. We have that type of, you can say that, don't have limitation. We can do the certification course for students so that they have competent, so that they can, whenever they come to market, they must have that type of skill set, that type of knowledge, that they can do better than others.
Yeah, I completely second the opinion of Dr. Gajan Singh.
I think
I'm totally agree.
Time is almost running out, but last question, many people feel, and he has just pointed about new technology, about AI, machine learning, and data sciences, etc. Now, again, somebody told that he only, I think, told that in the US, even regulatory are using these sciences for the clinical research. What our regulatory agency is thinking over it, and can it be possible, because such a complex scenario we are having in India, can we have adoption of such kind of technologies by having virtual kind of clinical research? Is it possible? And actually, people are having fear that whether this may affect the job prospectus of people. These are 2 basic things they are there in the mind, that they will just remove the jobs of CRCs and various clinical research associates. So can you please throw light on this? And
See, while making any law or rules, see, here we can talk about lot of advancement, the lot of technology, virtual reality, telemedicine, digital health. But what I was a member of drafting committee of this NDCT rule, and what we have seen, we have to think the last patient. We have to think about the last patient or the last subject who is residing in the remote area. ऐसा नहीं कि हमने बोल दिया कि चलो हम वर्चुअल रियलिटी कर देते हैं या इंटरनेट से उससे कॉन्फ्रेंस करते हैं. गांव में ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग हैं उनको इंटरनेट ही पता नहीं. So while making and adopting all these rules and regulations, we have to consider all these things. See, while making this, drafting these NDCT rules, we have read the US FDA rules, we have read the European rules, we have read the African rules, and whatever the best possible for the Indian population, for the Indian patient, and whatever the best possible for the Indian industry, that we have to adopt. ऐसा नहीं कि हमने बहुत हाई फाई टेक्नोलॉजी लगा दिया और उसका पैरासीटामोल का कॉस्ट जो 10 रुपये है, that is going to increase into the 500 rupees, which our the small patient cannot afford. So while deciding this, we have to think the last subject, and you must be knowing we have already revised our NDCT rules to incorporate this cell therapy and cell therapy product also. At the same time, आपको शायद पता होगा कि US FDA has, I think in this month only, they have approved one therapy, that is Len melody therapy. You must be knowing. Do you know the cost of that therapy? Are you aware about that therapy? That cost of that therapy is around 32 crores. It is for the metachromatic leukodystrophy. If we adopt this, the same technology, will it be affordable for the India? So we have to think all the possibilities. ऐसा नहीं कि इंडिया पुअर है. किसी ने इंडिया को पुअर बोला था तो हमने उसको रात भर नचाया 70 करोड़ रुपीस में, है ना? Isn't it? But हमें उनका भी सोचना पड़ता है ना? सो आप अगर से ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि आप हम एंटरटेन के लिए 70 करोड़ तो खर्च कर सकते हैं, देन इफ इट इज विद द लाइफ वी कैन डू एनीथिंग, बट एवरीबडी कांट डू इट, है ना? सो while adopting all this, we have to very meticulously consider the rules and regulation which will suits to industry, which will suits to regulator, and which will suits to the common people also. So accordingly, we have already revised the guideline, and we have incorporated the stem cell product also in that guideline. And when it is a new drug development in India, we have also prescribed the timelines as well. So, and in future, if anything is required, these rules are very dynamic rules. So you can give the suggestions, and we can meet all these rules accordingly, whatever you want.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, yes, what
I would like to add a couple of things here. So as sir mentioned that in USA they are using advanced technology. Yes, they are using because they have money power. They have new technology, and they also, their research is very much advanced as compared to India. Okay, but in India and also nowadays we are using technology in clinical research, and especially for the data capture, like EDC, like electronic data capture we are using, and as well as patient recruitment. Nowadays there are various technology apps are available, so through which we can go for the patient selection or patient recruitment procedures are there. Then also we can monitor their dosing schedule. Apart from this, as I mentioned, for data management, EDC is available, then statistical part is also available. Okay, so in this, each and every, and apart from this, in regulatory aspect also, we are using technology, because initially we were using paper documents for submission of the, a new document application or, clinical trial application. But nowadays we have Sugam portal. Okay, so that we are using, and we are updating those clinical trial application along with the required documents, and we can check the status online. So technology is also, available in India, but definitely it will take some time to reach to that level as compared to USA.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to add on this. already we have moved from the traditional method to a modern method, because earlier there was a paper CRF, and we need to visit the hospital, the sites, physically we need to visit, because I still remember 10-12 years back when I started my career in this clinical trials field, and my first trial was a pediatrics trial, and there was a phase 4 trial, and I was having around 15 hospitals to visit, and as there's a rule, the first patient first monitoring, so I need to visit every time, every hospital compulsory. But now the scenario has been changed. Now there's a remote monitoring technology has come. So that CRA, that monitor, don't have to visit any site. Just sitting at one place, he can monitor all sites, and he get all the centralized data at one place. So even the India is progressing in this technology part, but still we need to progress more into that, because again, I think so for India, a bit a cost problem is there. So for anything, again, I think so ECRF, every sponsors have their own softwares now. So they are investing individual level at their this. So everyone is now investing in their companies for their softwares, the technologies, even there for the next generation, everyone is coming with some innovative solutions. So I think so we are also in the same path, but still we need to set one global standards for us also, because still many more things to come in our industry also now.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we should conclude this session. It was a wonderful session. Before actually coming to an end, it's my duty to ask if there are some questions from audience. Hardly few, maximum 2 or 3 questions we can take. Yes, she has raised hand first. Can you give her a mic, please?
Hello sir, myself Shreya Breed. I'm a student of Shri Ridu Vispute College of Pharmacy. I would like to specifically ask question to Dr. Thakur sir and Sable sir. And my question is, earlier we were talking about gene editing technology, right? So we have 3 different types of gene editing technology as per my research. They are AI, CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology and twin editing technology. These technologies are used in USA and in China, and they cost around $2 billion. And if we talk about bringing this technology in India, will be affordable? We know that it can't be affordable to the Indian people due to the economic conditions somewhere around the rural areas and urban areas. As Sable sir said, it is difficult to reach every people around rural and urban areas. So how much time it will require to bring this technology in India? Also, what will be the cost if we bring this technology in India? And will it be affordable to us? And if yes, then it's well and good. And if it's not, then what provisions would government bring to make it affordable to the Indian people?
First of all, I give you the ethical answer. That is not with respect to industrial perspective of view. Like there is a term tech transfer. If whatsoever the company have developed that particular, it's a process basically. Then if they can do this tech transfer with Indian, I think so, sir will explain better than me actually, then we can manage this particular gene editing therapy in India, that you can say immunotherapies in India. But unfortunately in India we don't have immunotherapies right now. We don't have gene therapies right now, and we don't have radioconjugate therapies recently launched in some cancer in high-end hospitals, but they are very expensive. Like if a normal cancer therapy, if it costs 10 lakhs, and if you are going for radioconjugate, it costs 45 or 50 lakhs. So with respect to affordability, it's a big question. But with respect to, you can say that the 2 or 3 terms tech transfer, if it's possible, then we can manage to give, being a developed country, and we are getting the same process from a developed country. So it depends upon the regulators, it depends upon the industry to industry contact, by what way they can actually start these type of trials or these type of therapies in India. And the second major point that I have like subscription based, like in this case, let us suppose if we can do immunotherapy to patient, then we have to follow a pattern of subscription that at one time, like if we go in just one go, that costs 40 lakhs. But if we go in stepwise, that costs 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 10 lakhs. This is the second method, then we can make things affordable. If we go with the subscription method, it's a method when we don't have that technology in India and we just want to borrow that technology from outside. These are two only methods that we can go for the affordability. Rest, it's up to the companies, their rules, regulation and regulators.
I think he has answered very nicely. You please sit. You know, we are master in the copycat. So we are not thinking to bring all this technology here, bring all that product as it is here. So our Indian, you know, not having the financially sound, they are very smart. And I think, I don't know how much time it will take to bring that automation here and the technology here, but why don't you think to devise another technology which will give the same quality of the product? You know, and regarding the affordability, I have just given the example. There is, you know, the different standards and variety of the people. Many of the people, for them, affordability is nothing there. So, in my opinion, you should suggest such a device. You know, I'll tell you one story, just brief, sir. Once there was in a soap manufacturing facility, some of the soap covers, it has missed the covering the soap, you know. So many of the US scientists, they have suggested some scanning machines. किसी ने बोला कि ये स्कैनिंग मशीन लगाओ तो जैसे आपका सोप जो है बाथरूम का सोप वो पास हो जाएगा वहाँ से, तो then you will recognize whether that soap has been incorporated into that or not. So the scientists, they have suggested कि स्कैनिंग मशीन ऊपर से होना चाहिए, किसी ने लगाया कि इसको स्कैनर में से जाना चाहिए. सो इट वाज यू नो कॉस्टिंग इन करोड़ रुपीस. सो कोई बोलता है कि सम इंडियंस वेयर देयर, तो किसी इंडियंस ने बोला कि यू डोंट हैव टू गो फॉर दैट, आप एक बड़ा सा फैन लगा दो इधर से, है ना, विच विल कॉस्ट यू अराउंड 10,000, जिसमें वो साबुन नहीं भरेगा, वो ऑटोमेटिकली उधर चला जाएगा सोप कवर. So your purpose will be solved. You know, so whatever the situations we are having and in what situations we are, so we have to think in that way. Otherwise, if you see the affordability, we are having the richest people in India, so I think they will bring this technology, and by that affordability will also come to the common people.